Well, don't you look pretty in blue, teen?
And you look very handsome in blue,
We're
Norm.
just matching.
We are.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Not sure who's who. Well, Dean, what's the shortest cruise that we have ever done?
1 day.
Wow. Didn't know you could do one-day cruises.
Oh, you'd be surprised what you can do, Norm.
We've done 21-day cruises and lots of 7-day cruises.
Yes, we have, haven't we?
But we just come back from a one-day cruise, and it's an iconic Canadian trip. So what did we go on, Dean?
We went on the Chi Cheemaun ferry.
Out of Tobermory in Ontario, Canada. The MS Chi Cheemaun was built in 1974, so it's just like us, celebrated 50 years.
It has. That's quite the celebration, hey, Norm?
Certainly is.
Yeah.
And it was built in Ontario as well. So what are some of the facts that we have about the Chi Cheemaun?
Well, it can take 638 passengers.
And 140 vehicles. So it's quite a size.
Yeah, that's quite a few people and cars, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So you maybe all realize or remember that we have a trailer in just outside of Kincardine by a lake. And so we have been using that this year as a hotel base, haven't we, Tim?
Yes, we have. So the whole idea is that we're going to do trips from there as our hotel. And really, this was the first one that we did, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
So it's only 2 hours from where our trailer is to Tobermory, which is right at the tip of the Bruce Peninsula. And it's where Highway 16 temporarily finishes. And so the MS Chi Cheemaun is the continuation of Highway 6 over to Manitoulin Island.
So we had been watching the weather forecast for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
We
hadn't
really have.
Because every time we decided, okay, let's go that day, there was going to be, started off sun, then it was going to be rain, then it was going to be 2 days, 3 days rain. So after a couple of weeks, we actually found 3 days of sunshine. So we said, let's book it. So we did.
We only photograph on blue sky days because those are the valuable photographs.
Yeah, Norm doesn't like taking pictures if it's raining or if it's grey.
Fair weather photographer.
So because we decided we wanted to do the ferry, the easiest way we thought would be, why don't we book a hotel or motel the night before?
Because we were going to be catching the very first ferry, and they actually said they wanted us an hour before sailing, and it was going to be sailing around 8:15, 8:30. So we felt, rather than drive 2 hours from our trailer, we thought we'd just get a motel. It would be more relaxed. So we spent half a day in Tobermory just looking around and taking some photographs. We saw the ferry on that first day, loading up cars and then departing. So we had a really nice day in Tobermory and an evening.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
It really was.
We actually picked up some subs that we had for supper, and then we actually went down to the town and we got ice cream, didn't we?
Yeah, long time since we've had ice cream.
And we took it over and we watched the sunset go down actually from the place that we had booked for the evening.
So we booked into the Bruce Anchor Motel.
Yeah.
It had been recently renovated, and the room was really very, very nice.
It was, wasn't it?
Nice thick carpet, and everything seemed to be new, even though it's quite an old motel. And basically there aren't any true hotels in Tobermory. They're really all motels.
And we were very fortunate when we found out there were different sort of rooms that you could get. We actually booked a room with a view of the lake didn't we? So
Yeah.
as the sun went down, we had the most glorious sunset.
We had a balcony to stand on.
It was very exciting, wasn't it?
But we actually went across the street to the Lake Huron, to the shore. That was just across the road. So we had a spectacular view of the sun starting to come down. Along with a whole bunch of other people all showed up. And it was really awe-inspiring to see that.
It was beautiful, wasn't
So then
it?
the next day, being lazy, rather than wanting to walk 5 or 10 minutes to the ferry terminal, we drove there so that we could leave our car in the car park of the ferry. So that was $10, and it made it so when we came back, our car was right there, and so then we could set off back to our trailer.
But I think part of the plan that we had always thought of was that if we could get the motel really near the ferry, because it was such an early start, our plan all along was for us to have breakfast as soon as we got on the ferry, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So as soon as the people saw us from the ship, they got the passenger. We were a walk-on passenger. We didn't drive the car on. So they just beckoned to us to come on. So we walked upstairs to a little tower, and then there was like a gangplank.
Like a gangplank, a metal gangplank that we walked on over to.
Luckily, there was a ship at the other side, so we didn't fall off.
And we actually had almost a welcoming committee because there was only Norm and I going on at that moment. And there was a couple of guys there from the hospitality side.
One was a steward, and he took our tickets, ripped them in half. And then the hotel manager was there as well. And they were so friendly that we had like a 5 or 10 minute conversation.
Oh, we loved it. We were just chatting to them about all the different trips you can do in Canada. And it made it a great start to our trip.
And then they said to us, come on board. And we just turned right and they said, go to the cafeteria because it's just opening.
Yeah. And we said, oh, yeah, we're going there because our plan was to have breakfast, wasn't it?
And what a breakfast. They put on a full buffet breakfast. And we were thinking we would have that. But as soon as we got on board, Tina kind of said they do a breakfast sandwich. So that kind of appealed to us.
Yeah. And, do you know, I can honestly say that they were probably the best breakfast sandwiches we have ever had.
Do you know why? Because we were hungry.
We were really hungry, but the muffins were kind of bigger than normal, bigger than the size you would get sort of from the grocery store or McDonald's. They were like an extra large muffin.
Yeah, English muffin.
It was great. And we had fried egg, we had ham.
Canadian bacon.
Canadian bacon and cheese in.
Oh, yeah.
There was cheese in it.
They'd buttered the sides of the muffin, the cut sides, and then put them on the griddle and slightly toasted them. And
ooh, did they taste good?
Yeah, I'm sure it was low calorie, Tim.
And we had coffee too. So we started off our cruise with a beautiful breakfast.
And we managed to grab a window table for two.
Yeah.
And we watched the land slip away as the ferry started going.
It was actually very exciting, wasn't it?
It really was. There's the small things that please us so much. So then we're on to Lake Huron on our way to Manitoulin Island. And we decided we would not get off the ferry. So we were just going on a round trip.
Yeah.
So everybody else got off and we had the boat to ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, there might have been a couple of other people that stayed on, but actually it was really nice because it was great for taking pictures because when everybody got off, there was like nobody there. So we were sort of rushing around sort of the lounge area.
All the lounges and kitchens taking photographs so we could put them on our stock photography site.
Yeah.
So then we saw briefly Manitoulin Island, and there was lots of cars ready to board the ferry to come back to Ontario or Tobermory.
Yeah.
And then then we set sail, and by that time it was about 11:30. Coming back, coming over the lake, we kept going through like fog banks,
Yeah.
which was quite strange because it was a blue sky,
Yeah.
it was sunny, and then all of a sudden we'd be in the middle of this fog
It was, yeah.
with a foghorn going.
Actually, the foghorn went a lot of times.
It did.
It was really quite strange to have gone from, as Norm says, blue skies, beautiful, to in fog, and then we couldn't really see anything. But prior to the fog, we did get to see kind of a lot of other islands, didn't we? There was one with a lighthouse on,
there was.
and it was. You know, it was almost just like cruising through Alaska, wasn't it?
It was incredibly interesting.
beautiful.
And the water was incredibly calm as well. There was just at some points a slight roll, but nothing to think about. The wind was really windy at some point.
Yes, it was. And actually, from our point of view, it was really interesting to see sort of the vehicles get off at Manitoulin Island as we arrived, and then to see them loading all the next lot of vehicles on. That was really nice to see.
It
wasn't
was.
It? Yeah.
So then we started getting hungry again. I don't know how that happens.
Oh, I think it's all the excitement of sailing at sea, Norm.
So what would be one of the great things to have on the MS Chi Cheemaun car ferry?
Gotta be fish and chips.
You bet.
Which is what we had.
Now, we in the past have ordered things like fish and chips, one plate each, and the food is enormous. So this time we thought we hadn't seen what the plates were like, so we decided we'd just order one.
Yeah.
And luckily we did.
And we had actually seen it on the menu where it did say that you got 2 pieces of fish and all the fries and coleslaw and everything. So we were hoping that it would be big enough for us, and we were flabbergasted. It was huge, wasn't it?
And Tina this time went and ordered that because I did the breakfast ones. Yeah. So she asked for a second plate as well, which they were very happy to put under the main plate.
Yeah.
We got lots of tartar sauce.
Yeah.
And
they were very happy. They weren't bothered at all that you were sharing it at all. And actually, we found that the food was very reasonable.
Yeah. And good quality as well.
Yeah.
For a car ferry, come on.
We're not
in the middle of Lake Huron.
We're not in a Michelin restaurant here, hey?
No.
But the food was great, was really nice.
We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, over the last couple of months, we have had fish and chips in some very expensive restaurants, and they've been absolutely terrible. This, in comparison, was a fraction of the price and just cooked just right.
And just to kind of let everybody know, they did have a wide range of things. If you didn't want what we did, they had lots of sandwiches that were all made up because
and they had
I guess
bagels in the morning.
Yeah, and because I guess some people might have bought the sandwiches to take with them at Manitoulin Island, and there was pizza and there was soup and there was all sorts
a dish of the day as well. So we were on Monday, and so they had meatless Monday. So if you were a vegetarian,
so
it'd be a great day to go on the Chi Cheemaun.
So they had a totally different dish of the day, didn't they?
They did.
And the coffee was great. Really, it was wonderful.
So the overall experience was just absolutely amazing. They did have a little exhibition going in one of the rooms, because there's multiple rooms, multiple lounges, and decks that you can go on. So they had the history of the Chi Cheemaun, and they had the initial plans that they built the ship from, photographs of it being built. And the one thing that I'm very taken with is the graphics that are on the ship.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Whoever painted and designed that, the colors are fabulous. Really, really great.
And it carries through into the funnel or smokestack as well.
Yeah.
So they've done a great job on this boat. We've been on many cruise ships where we've seen a lot more rust and wear and tear.
Yeah, we have them.
Than this. So this ferry as being incredibly well kept. So we have to compliment them on that. And just from a technical point of view, it's run by the Owen Sound Transportation Company, and that's what they call in Canada a crown corporation, because it's owned by the provincial government of Ontario. So if you think this is a government-run thing, it is probably one of the best organizations I've ever come across for a government-run thing.
And I was going to say that even though there probably was the capacity of vehicles and passengers on there, it was all very spacious when we were in the cafeteria or in one of the lounges or just walking around the deck. They have plenty of places where you can sit either inside or outside, some beautiful outside chairs. But we didn't really feel like crowded or anything, did we?
Not at all.
It was a very, very enjoyable experience.
So having done the MS Chi Cheemaun, which we've been trying to do for 5 years, we just keep putting stuff off. So now we've ticked that one off.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Teen? And I think we're trying to fit this into September, are we?
And this is because we've always wanted to see the fall colours, and seeing them on a train trip would be awesome. So we are looking to do the Agua Canyon train trip.
Right.
Which people come from all over the world for this.
Yeah, it's very, very popular. And so we will retrace our MS Chi Cheemaun Ferry Day, because we will set off from our trailer in September, go up to Tobermory, take the ferry and with our car, and then drive off on to Highway 6 in Manitoulin Island and make our way to Sault Ste. Marie, where we'll be based for 2 days. And we, from there, will take the Agua Canyon train.
Yeah, and it's an all-day train. It leaves at sort of 8 in the morning till 6, so it's like a 10-hour train trip. And then we'll probably spend one night in either Tobermory or Manitoulin Island coming back, and then we'll go back and spend a couple of nights more back at the trailer. And another one too, Norm, that we're looking, similar to the Chi Cheemaun ferry, is taking the ferry to Pelee Island.
Geez, Tin, I'm getting worn out with all these trips.
Well, now we're so excited at doing all these Canadian trips, so we're looking to do one to Pelee Island.
So the same ferry company has a smaller ferry that goes from basically Leamington, Ontario, to Pelee Island. And Pelee Island is famous for bird migration, as well as nature walks, hiking. So we're trying to fit that in this year as well. And that might be doing what I think is an old fogey's coach trip, where they come and pick us up at our local town and basically drive us everywhere, including the ferry.
And on this particular one, we think it might be a really good idea to do the coach tour for that, don't we?
We do, because there's vineyards there, and if I'm driving, I don't drink.
So I kind of said to Norm on this one, if we do the coach tour, then they will take him everywhere and he can enjoy the vineyards.
The fruits of their labor.
Yeah. So on that one, we might do the tour, but on the other one, we're going to plan it ourselves, aren't we? So we've got a lot of exciting trips coming up, Norm. Experience.
So we're making this video for you, so that maybe you should look at what are some of the iconic trips in your location, wherever you are in the world. Is there something local within 2 to 4 hours that defines where you come from? We've done a lot of these things, for instance, haven't we, Tim?
We have, and one of our favorites, as you know, that we go to Niagara Falls. We probably go there at least once a year, don't we?
Yeah. We've also been to Quebec City, Montreal.
And of course, we have done the Via Canadian train trip, which was very exciting. And we loved that, didn't we?
And we really are trying to plan another train trip with Via Rail on the ocean which is, these are the names they give the train. So the Canadian goes from Toronto to Vancouver, and the ocean goes from Montreal to
Halifax, if you go right to the end, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes, that's another one that we're looking at.
So we're a firm believer in enjoying Canada in the summertime because there's no better place to be. The weather, you can see it on the video clips that we've included with this. Blue skies, 20 to 30 degrees. And we just hope that everybody's keeping well.
And staying safe.
And until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.